Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another segment of Good Sports. I'm Mike Lowe, and joined today by Mark Emmert, the newest member of the Press Herald's sports staff. Mark's replacing Paul Batiste, who retired after a gazillion years. Paul was older than dirt. Mark's not quite that old.
Getting there.
But we're all getting there, Mark. But Mark joins us from Iowa, where he had a lot of positions in Des Moines. He was the sports editor, right, at one point. Rowe. He also worked in Indianapolis, which is, to me, a great city. My second favorite Super Bowl city, Indianapolis.
Behind New Orleans?
Behind New Orleans. Everything's behind New Orleans. You got New Orleans, then you got Indianapolis, and then you get everything else.
Gotcha.
But Mark, you've been here for a little over a month now.
Yeah.
Yep. So some of your impressions first of Maine, besides the snow and the frigid.
No, but I'm from Minnesota, so I don't mind the snow that much. I was surprised to see it twice in 1 week, but no, it's a really nice city. I love the scenery. I love the people are very nice. Kind of reminds me of the Midwest a little bit. I lived in Duluth for 5 years, and this city reminds me a lot of Duluth, Minnesota, actually. So I'm liking it so far. And you guys have all been great.
Well, we're trying. One of the things we want to do is introduce you to as many things as we can early, because with our staff, we cover just about everything.
Right, which I like.
And speaking of scenery, you've seen a lot of the greenery going up to Orono. You've made several trips up north. You've been kind of a go-to guy for the men's ice hockey team.
Correct.
And you've been impressed with how they've played so far.
Yeah, because I'm only seeing them at home, and they're great at home. I mean, they've the last 4 or 5 games there have been lights out. On the road, I'm not sure what's happening with them, but they've got a lot of really good young talent, and I think, February, March rolls around, maybe they could make some noise in the Hockey East.
Well, it's a long drive for us up to Orono. It's even longer for all their opponents, unless they're flying into Bangor, which I don't think a lot of these teams do.
So fatigue is a factor for them?
I think fatigue and bad backs on the bus, and you got the bad headphones that might have blasted your ears a little too much.
All right, I'll check into
that. It's a built-in
home. It's a beautiful
ice
arena.
advantage.
Yeah,
it is a beautiful
and the people
arena.
are so passionate about it, and they're wearing their little bare heads and stuff. It's really kind of. I covered college hockey in Duluth for a while too, and I really like that level of hockey.
The Bulldogs were there.
The Bulldogs, yeah. Frozen Four, 2004, with Maine.
Yep. I remember the first Frozen Four I went to when Maine won the national championship. NCAA made a mistake. They printed out the Maine Brown Bears.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had T-shirts all over the hotel lobby. The Maine Brown.
Did
Bears.
they used to be the Brown Bears and then became the Black Bears?
They were never the Brown Bears.
Really?
Brown University is the Brown Bears. Maine has always been the Black Bears. There was a quick grabbing the T-shirts and throwing them away motion by the NCAA, but a lot of people found them and bought them. So
yeah, including. Did you get one?
I missed it. I missed out on that. I think Saul got one.
I bet he did. Wow.
He's got a collection of stuff. But Mark's also covering some high school hockey for us as well, and he's kind of being introduced to the local teams there. It's funny, when I came here, I thought Maine high school hockey would be really, really good.
Yeah.
And it really was a little in its infancy at that time. There weren't a whole lot of schools. It really has exploded since I've been here.
Good.
Your impressions on it, Mark?
Yeah, well, I've only seen one game so far. I'm covering another one Saturday, but the game I covered was really good. It was obviously Falmouth against Scarborough, and they were two very good teams, really good goaltending, tight checking. It was a good hockey game from what I saw.
So you guys meet Nam Gagne?
I did. I've talked to him a couple times. Yeah, he's quite a character.
He's a character. Yes, that's a way to put it. A legend here in the state.
Yeah, I can see that, which I like. I like those kind of oversized hockey coaches that the big personalities and tell you how it is.
Yeah. Now, when you were out in the Midwest, did you follow? What professional teams did you follow, Mark?
Well, obviously, I grew up as a Twins fan, Vikings. Not quite as much Timberwolves, and the North Stars were there when I was a kid. That was huge. That was a big loss.
They're great.
Yeah, that was a great organization. And the Wild have kind of come in and replace that a little bit, but it'll never be the same as it was. And then Minnesota Gophers basketball was huge for me and my family. My dad took me to a lot of games at Williams Arena, so those are the teams that I followed the most.
Did you see the same passion in the Midwest as there is here in Maine for the New England teams, like the Patriots and the Red Sox?
Yeah, probably maybe even more so here. And of course, you guys have been a lot more successful out here than the Minnesota teams have ever been.
Just since the 2000s, since we changed it to 2000.
Recently,
they broke off the 20th century, moved into the 21st, and Boston became title town.
Well, Minnesota's waiting for the 22nd century, I guess, because we did have two Twins World Championships, and I was actually at both of those. I took my dad to a World Series game in '87, which was a highlight of my life, sporting life. But
which one?
It was game two.
Okay.
Yeah, of '87. Yeah,
right.
It was a good. The Twins won.
Yeah.
So,
as a kid growing up in Minnesota, that couldn't have been any better.
Yeah, that was great to pay him back for all the games he took me to, and a lot of them which stunk. So that was great. But the Vikings just break your heart every year. So
this year they're not worth breaking.
No, that's the good thing. I don't have to worry about it. I go watch them every week, but I don't care if they win or not.
Jordan, Glenn's a huge Vikings
I know.
fan.
I've talked to him and his sons. Yeah, they've made the pilgrimage to the Mall of America field for a preseason game
I
for
know.
whatever reason.
Yeah.
And but that's great. It's good to be surrounded by somebody familiar.
Yep. All right. Well, we got to head out now. Mark's got stories to write. I have a story about Julia Kluge, which you can read about in Sunday's paper. That's it for us. Merry Christmas, everyone. Safe travels, and have a Happy New Year.
Right. Thank you.